Thornhill is under attack for supporting Sleep Token on their upcoming tour. Kind of. Ladies, gentlemen, theys and dems, how you doing? How you feeling? Happy Tuesday. Today we touch on a familiar topic, but with a twist, okay? Because bands getting hate for touring with problematic ones, we're no stranger to that kind of thing. If a band tours with Falling in Reverse or Slaughtered to Prevail, it's curtains. Twitter's gonna eat that ass up, okay? But the reason why this is different is because Sleep Token isn't really problematic, okay? The band isn't filled with weirdos and creeps, well, that we know of, right? People just hate them because either A, they just hate anything that's popular, or B, they're just not a fan of the band's music, their sound. So if that's the case, where's this hate boner coming from? Well, it stems from this. Okay, so Landmvrks and Thornhill were gonna go on tour together with Silly Goose and Revolve, and looking at the dates, it's supposed to be in the fall. Now, I think it's fair to say that a decent amount of people probably bought tickets for Thornhill specifically, not to take credit away from Thornhill, okay, or sorry, from Landmvrks, because they're double the size as Thornhill, but I think it'd be silly to say that Thornhill didn't pull their weight for this tour so far. Now, this was announced 12 weeks ago, all right? But 4 days ago, Thornhill ended up posting this. Unfortunately, we've made a decision to step away from the tour supporting Landmvrks. We appreciate everyone involved, and by no means was this an easy decision to be made. Please do keep your ticket and see the rest of the bands on that lineup and support them however you can. Now, keep a tab on keep your ticket. All right, we're gonna come back to that comment in a second. An unexpected opportunity has come up for North America, and we will share more on that very soon. Thank you. Now, this statement was very respectable. Okay, they were very open, very honest to the audience. They were showing love to Landmvrks and the other bands on this bill. Now, I think they told you to keep your ticket for 2 reasons. Number 1, obviously to show love for the tour, to show love for the Landmvrk fellas. And the second reason is because yesterday they announced this tour. Sleep Token, the Even in Arcadia tour with special guest Thornhill. Now notice, all the dates are sold out. Every single date is sold out. So yeah, of course keep your ticket, because you can't see us anyway. You can, but then you're gonna have to pay a few $100, which I don't think anyone is down to do. And if you are down to pay a few $100 just to see Thornhill, not to say they're a bad band or anything, but look, even for my favorite bands, I would not pay more than $100. All right, I'm a cheap bitch. Unless it's a festival, you are not getting more than $100 from me. And if you're one of these people that are down to do that, either you're very wealthy, and if you are, hey, there's a super thanks option, and there's a join button if you want to financially support your boy, or you're just not good with money. And if that's the case, there's a super thanks option and a join member. A join option to become a member of the channel. Now, before unraveling this whole thing and everything that went down, I do think it's worth mentioning that the Landmvrks tour, they did find a replacement, and that replacement is Novelist. Now, Novelist is a tad smaller than Thornhill, but I do think it's a really good replacement because I know there's some crossover between Novelist and Landmvrks. I'm not all that familiar with Silly Goose or Resolve, so I can't speak for them, but I'll be sure to check them out after this video. With all that being said, the Landmvrks tour is going to be fine. Novelist, great decision. Now, I think anyone with just a few brain cells can imagine why Thornhill made this decision to drop the Landmvrks tour and join Sleep Token. A few months ago, they just wrapped up this tour. It was Thornhill Body's North American headline tour with a bunch of supporting bands. And as you can see, they played a bunch of dates. Okay, Thornhill is the type of band that tours a lot. And again, this was just a few months ago. This was earlier this year. They played North America. And if you go back to this Landmvrks bill, you can see they're hitting a lot of the same cities, a lot of the same states. Now think about this. Pretend it's you in their shoes. Would you rather do a tour filled with dates you've already done earlier this year as main support for the headliner? Or would you rather take a huge opportunity, play a sold out tour for not just like 2,000 to 3,000 head cap venues, max capacity or whatever, but literally like 20,000 person venues? The Wells Fargo Center in Philly that is sold out is 21,000 people. I'm gonna be so for real. I would drop an entire tour just to play that one fucking venue. So yeah, this is a very smart business decision, okay? It's a no-brainer for sure, especially because I feel like if you enjoy the heavier parts of Sleep Token, of their discography, I think you would be a fan of Thornhill. So let's do an experiment, all right? Today is 8/5/2025, and Thornhill is at 475,000 monthly listeners. What I want to do is come back after the tour so we can see how many monthly listeners they're at. And going off of song stats, it seems like they're currently the most popular they've ever been. So my prediction is after this tour, they're going to be well over a milli when it comes to monthly listeners, probably the same size and as Landmvrks, which obviously wouldn't happen if they toured with Landmvrks. But you know what will happen is you join in the Discord. Link in description. It's filled with people like you and I that are into cool music and gaming. Join that shit. Now, if I could see why they made that decision, and you could see why they made that decision, what are people upset about? Now, there's two main reasons. And by the way, there's not that much hate. For the most part, people are extremely happy for Thornhill and understanding, and pretty much everyone, including motherfuckers on Reddit, that cesspool, we're all in agreement that this is a pretty good decision. Okay, we're all in support about this. But of course, there is a very loud handful of idiots that aren't thinking straight. Again, for two reasons. Now, that first reason is people are buying tickets for that Landmvrks tour, but for Thornhill specifically. So they're upset that they bailed, which is understandable, but at the end of the day, Thornhill, again, is one of those bands that tour all the fucking time. I promise you'll be okay. Another opportunity will arise. And the second complaint is people are upset that they're bailing on the commitment. They committed to this tour to then bail a month and a half before it kicks off. But hey, come on, bro. Are you dumb? At the end of the day, a band is a business. You're aware of that. I'm aware of that. As much as you don't want to see it in this way, a band is a business. Now, I'm not saying to put your morals to the side to benefit yourself, okay? Because at that point, you're considered a sellout. But what I am saying is you can't be surprised when business decisions like this are made, especially ones like this that are like relatively harmless. It is what it is. This is a decision that can potentially set this band's career in stone, all right? And I'm not saying that they're not already big and established, because bro, look at this. Like I said, 474,000 monthly listeners. That's not easy to do. This is extremely impressive, but this is an opportunity for them to reach heights that I'm sure they've always wanted to see. Now, people don't like Sleep Token because of the whole Octane Core thing, but guess what? Thornhill is pretty far from Octane Core, but I feel like they're close enough to Sleep Token sound to then like have this ability to capture a much broader, much wider audience to then get them into this heavier side of music. The more people that check out Thornhill from this tour, the better for the scene as a whole. Today's Sleep Token Meat Rider can pipeline into an obscure, like, shit grind 16 monthly listener band Meat Rider. And to close this off, if you're upset that you bought a ticket and now can't see them, you're allowed to be upset. I'm not saying you can't be upset, but trying to cause a stir on social media makes you look like you have this, like, you just look like a main character syndrome idiot. I'm sorry, pal, that shit doesn't always go your way. And if you're not understanding about that, I feel bad for you and the motherfuckers in your social circle. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think Thornhill made the appropriate decision? Would you make that decision? Like, sub, and click right here, because yesterday we spoke about a tiny local band getting their music stolen.